Hello, YouTube. My name is Garrett Robinson. Welcome to my show, Vloganovel, on my channel, Vloganovel, where I vlog novels. This is the show where I live create books from beginning to end, everything from outlining to writing the first draft, editing, formatting for publication, then putting the book up for sale wherever books are sold, from Amazon to Barnes & Noble, Kobo, the iBookstore, Smashwords, and everywhere else. And Today is an exciting day because today we start working on the next book. Yes, this is the first video in the eventually, I'm sure, very long playlist in which we will be creating the book Darkfire. And Darkfire is the third book in my fantasy series, the Nightblade volumes. And of course, the first volume in the Nightblade volumes is the volume Nightblade, which you can see right here. That is available for sale. There is a link in the description of this video where you can actually go pick up a signed copy of the paperback for the regular retail price. And you'll be buying it directly from me, which helps me as an author tremendously. So that would be great. No pressure. I'm obviously pretty biased, but yeah. So we are beginning work on the third book, and the third book is called Darkfire. And I thought that it would be a nice, I don't know, change of pace if we started with the cover design, because I actually didn't include the cover design of Mystic in the last Vloganovel series. Like, that just kind of got left off because I stopped doing Vloganovel for a while and everything. I did show the cover design process for Nightblade, but not Mystic. So this is the existing paperback file. Oh, I didn't load YouTube comments because I always have to forget something. Let me just load that real quick. So this is the existing paperback file. You can see it's a full it's a full paperback. This is the back cover over on the left, and then there's the spine, and there's the front cover. And I always start graphic design work on a book cover with the paperback, because then all you have to do is crop that down and you get the ebook file, and that's a lot easier generally than trying to what's the word I'm looking for? That's a lot easier than trying to make the ebook file and then expand it into a paperback file. It's like, no, just start with the paperback file, and I do the graphic design on the front, and then I add and I do the spine and whatever, and then I save the back matter, everything on the back cover. I save that for when the book is written or nearly written, because right now it's like it always has a quote from the book, and it always has it's geared towards the particular book. Like, I might do a couple small things, like, I mean, now that I'm thinking of it, might as well change it to the Nightblade Volumes Book 3, because it is Book 3. But other than that, I'm just going to worry about the front cover right now. So Darkfire, what I envisioned for the cover of this book is a hand reaching toward camera, so to speak, in filmmaking terms. It's not, reaching towards camera and holding a ball of black fire, with a blue tint to it, which isn't necessarily the most accurate thing, but I just think it's going to look good. Like, I like one splash of really vibrant color on all my covers. You can see that Nightblade is heavily desaturated, except that her eyes, well, it doesn't show up that great on the YouTube video, but her eyes are really startlingly green, and the cover is gloss, and it just makes the green just go like wow. And in Mystic, his, as you can see on the screen, his cloak is a little bit red, but mostly it's that blue eye, that piercing blue eye that just goes wabam. So Darkfire, we're going to give accents to the ball of flame that will hopefully do the same kind of thing, because the rest of it's going to be very intensely desaturated. Now, what might crack you up when you see it is the pictures, the base pictures that I have chosen to use for this. I went shopping around Shutterstock.com, and I got a few photos that I think might work, but you might not think they'll work when you see them. So let's pull them up here. So this, I don't know if you can see that very well. This is the basis that we're going to be working off of. Now, if you'll notice, the hand is holding a light bulb, and the man in the background is wearing a business suit with a tie. That is obviously not at all what we are looking for or what we want, but that's fine because we can edit all of that out, and that is in fact the plan here. So we're going to drop this. Whoa, that's quite big. The hand, you see, is perfect, and that's why we're doing this, is because the hand is exactly what I want. Let's make you a bit smaller here. I want the hand to be about that big, I think, is going to work size-wise. That's what she said. It's just got a nice high contrast look to it, and you know, the front fingers are out of focus, and the part of the hand where the fireball is originating from is just so sharply in focus, and that's very much in keeping with the look of like the first Nightblade book, for example. So we could start editing stuff out right now, and you know what, we can do this. This actually should go in the front cover folder. And we can actually just delete all of this stuff. So we can do this. We can grab the, get rid of these two. So we'll grab this, we'll put a mask on it. Actually, we'll rasterize it first. Will we? I don't think we need to. Put a mask on it, and then we will, rather than erase it, I always like to use a mask and draw it out, because you can always bring it back in. Like, for example, if I'm erasing, right, and I use the eraser and I erase a row, whoops. Just to show you, if I erase part of his hand, there's no way to get that back except for undoing it. But if we work with a mask, just unrasterize it. We work with a mask and we paint black over the mask and we paint it over his hand, then we can just switch colors and we can paint it back in. So that's why I choose to use that approach, and we'll just correct everything that we did here, although we're not going to use most of it. So we'll just take black and we'll very broadly just get rid of a bunch of this stuff. We're not going to worry about too fine a detail at all. Is just to get a very rough outline of the hand, because we don't want to go into fine detail until we put the fireball in and we see, like, what do we actually need to eliminate. I'm sure a lot of this stuff is going to be covered by the fireball. So speaking of which, I grabbed two fireballs that I think might work. Either one of them. This one is okay. I like the look. be honest, I'm not 100% stoked with either one of these. I think this one is the better choice of the two, and I grabbed this one just sort of as backup. I do like the jagged edges of this fireball. Like, there's something that looks almost unnatural about it, and of course, Darkfire is an unnatural magical phenomenon, so, that might work, but we'll see. For now, let's drag this one in. Mm. Yes, there you go. So the first thing that you notice is on it's is that it's on a black background. So we will change it to, let's try lighten. It's too much. It's too light. Let's try screen maybe. Color dodge. No. Let's work with lighten for now, because we can also play around with the levels. Now, of course, the rotation is terrible. Want it going more or less straight up and down. And we're gonna do a little trick here that doesn't, that you wouldn't think would do that much, but it actually kind of pays off in a big way. We're gonna put a mask on it. Well, here first, let's actually size it, because I want it to be quite a bit bigger. That's what she said, right? Then we'll sort of put it in the center of his palm, maybe right around here, but we definitely want it to overlap with this finger, because then what we can do is we can take the mask and we can sort of draw this part out. And then boom, instantly it just helps sell the 3D-ness, or whatever you want to call it, of uh the whole image, and it makes it look like it is in the middle of his hand rather than just one image stuck on top of another. You get what I mean? Let's pull my Oh, great, wonderful. My QuickTime video is frozen. Fantastic. Start a new one here. There we go. Because I know everybody's only here to see my beautiful face. Okay. Now, I like the way the fire drifts off like that, and it looks realistic, but unfortunately, it doesn't really help us, because as well as being here on the front cover, the image is of course going to be over here where the face is on the spine. That's going to be replaced by the hand and the fire. So it and with that in mind, this is actually just a little bit too tall, and it obscures the name of the book. So we're going to just sort of fade a lot of this stuff out. We're going to soften our thing here. So that's a little bit more how we want it to be dimensionally. Let's harden it back up and sharpen its edge just a little bit. Ooh, too sharp. Much too sharp. No, it's probably fine for now. So now we got this annoying thing where the bottom of the the bottom of the light bulb is showing through here. Now that's because we're using the screen mode lighten. So let's see if we can play around with levels a little bit and get the ball of fire to look a little bit more solid. Oh, we want to put a clipping mask on that so that it doesn't affect the hand. We only want it affecting the fireball. That kind of does the trick on the hand. And it doesn't make the fireball look exactly how we want it to look. But that's fine because we're gonna adjust the fireball. Like the fireball is gonna be dark fire. It's gonna be black, right? So that's okay. But now our glow up here has become really weird looking. We need to adjust that. We need to soften up a bit again. By the way, if you are watching live, I know it's very late and probably nobody is, but if you are watching live, feel free to chime in the comments. I always love being able to chat with people while I work. It's half the reason I do this. Okay, so now that we've got that, let's go back to the hand. And let's get a little bit more fine on our details here on what we're doing. Harden back up. Opacity to, let's say, well, let's just go for 100 right now. Get a little more fine on all this stuff. And you'll notice we can afford to be pretty lax about the stuff that's going on behind the fireball. Because the fireball is obscuring it. This is really one of those things, like so many things in art, where you just kind of you do it roughly and you just rough it out, and then you do some more work on the overall thing, and then you get a little more fine and a little more fine. You just go over it and over it again and again, getting more detailed each time. Because it's not worth spending the time getting so detailed if you later find out that it doesn't work with some other part of the creation. And that's good advice for writing as well. Like, don't spend 2 months writing a scene on your first draft, because you might get to the editing phase and be like, oh, I actually have to cut that scene out. Well, outlining helps a lot with that. So here we go. Ooh. Doo-be-doo-be-doo. You got some extra flames up here, which we want to get rid of. orange up there. Wasn't looking particularly good. So we're using a sharper brush to kind of give some more definition to the top of the flame. Honestly, might not be the best approach. I feel like we need some of this red up there to really help sell it. Yeah, it's not. I'm not totally stoked with it right now. Maybe we just do a little bit like this. You want to study the way that the flame naturally sort of curls in the rest of your picture, and then you sort of want to try to imitate that with the shape that you try to give it. But you really don't want to overdo it on this stuff. It's so easy to just make something look unnatural and shitty. Which I kind of feel like I'm doing, to be totally honest. Let's see how it looks when we flip it, because now we're going to try flipping it to negative. Well, first we're going to do this. We're going to go desaturate. And then we're going to, how do you do negative? Flip, is it? No. Reverse? No. Stylize. No. I always forget this friggin' menu command. Invert. Invert. Fucking hell. I'm doing it right. What's going on? This, by the way, this is half of my graphic design work, like graphic design work. People are always like, "Your covers look great." I'm like, "Oh, really? This is all I did?" So I sat down and I googled how to do everything I wanted to do. Before we do that, let's duplicate this. Let's group this. Group from layers. Duplicate. Hide the one. What am I doing wrong? Image adjustments. Why don't I have adjustments? Image adjustments. Invert. Doesn't, that's grayed out. Why are you grayed out? Oh, probably because it's not rasterized. Here you go. What? I forgot one very important thing before I did that. Okay, so now we'll select. That's one of those things where, like, I think it's close to how I want it to look when it's going to be inverted, but of course it's very hard to tell until you've actually inverted it. So now we'll merge this group. We'll keep it as a lighten. Now let's make it normal, actually. Then let's select color range, and we'll go for black. And we will delete it from this layer. Then we'll invert. That's actually quite nice. I'm a big fan of how that looks. We'll adjust it, no doubt. And this is doing something weird. Probably from the various adjustments we were making and so on and so forth, but that's fine. Yeah, I'm happy with this. As a starting point, obviously. All right, let's get back into the hand and do some finer detail now that we kind of know what we're doing even better. Actually, if we take the fireball and we switch it to lighten one more time, that doesn't look good. That's not what we want. No. Normal is fine for now. So now we're going to go real fine on that hand. Leave just a hint of softness, and then you put it pretty much as close to the border as you can. And sometimes that'll leave a little ghostly glow around whatever you're trying to edit out, but that's pretty easy to fix. And I mean, easier anyway than cutting way too far into the flesh, because that just looks really bad. It looks like a bad green screen job, you know. Oh, hey, somebody's commenting. Carl J. Lice, we're going to soften our thing. And how do you propose that with such a sexy cover all up in your face? Hi, Carl. How's it going? Excellent first comment. Dude, honestly, I wish I had videoed and kept record of all the work I did on the Mystic cover, because you should have seen the first iteration, like the first rough mock-up that I spat out. Oh my god, it wasn't good. It was so not good. It actually wasn't bad, but I tried to keep Lauren on the cover. Lauren, the main character from the book series, and so it was her and Zane. And I already had this badass picture, you know, that was like an idea or a concept of Lauren. So I tried to find another stock photo that would work. That wouldn't be the same. That wouldn't be the same picture, but would be like the same idea. And then have her and Zane and Jordell on the cover together. And Jordell is the person who is on the cover of Mystic. He's the Mystic with the red cloak and the piercing blue eyes. And the image for Jordell is actually the same image that's on there right now. And obviously, I think he looks pretty freaking, you know, badass. But the image I found for her did not. She looked terrible. And everybody who saw it was like, I'm not feeling this one. And then finally I just realized I'm trying too hard to keep her on the cover when this book is called Mystic, and it's totally appropriate if the Mystic is the only one on the cover. So I'll probably get this done to a point where I'm fairly happy with it tonight, and then I always send new covers over to David Wright, just to get his opinion, because he often has he'll have like some great insight, because he's a very graphically minded person, and he'll go like, "Oh, this is good, but you should increase the contrast on the fur," you know. David actually is one of the reasons why the cover of Rebel Yell looks as good as it does. Because that's another one where like I came up with a concept and I was like, I know the basic idea of what I want. So I threw it together and I wasn't happy with it. So I just reached out to him. I was like, David, I'm not totally happy. What's wrong with it? And he was like, oh, well, for one thing, you didn't do this. And then he sent me back like, he was like, this is what I would do. And it's so close to the final product of the Rebel Yell cover, which is one of my favorite covers. I just think it looks great. A lot of this stuff. Actually, this is a good time to throw a levels adjustment here, because we want this to be even higher contrast than it already is. Oh, that's looking pretty good. So a lot of this fine editing won't even really be necessary, because it's going to be all in blackness. So now we're going to soften this up a little bit again. Because we're in the section of the photograph that's, you know, soft in focus and whatnot. So we want to try to imitate that soft focus look on a black background. And again, you really have to play with it back and forth. You have to play with it back and forth, because it's really easy to wind up with that halo effect, and you definitely don't want that. That's just a very common thing that you see when somebody tries to isolate an image from a non-keyed photograph. And it's like using Comic Sans for your book title. It's just super unprofessional. But the key to avoiding it is just playing with it back and forth. Actually, you know, it might just be easier in this case, because the glow goes outward, to just sort of black out the edge, you know, and then paint the finger back, paint the hand back in, because then you have a glow that originates outward, just like in the original picture. Yeah, that's creating a really nice effect, actually. Okay, how we doing? That joint is not good. Okay. So now we've got this little, we're just going to go ahead and use the eraser on here. Erase with extreme prejudice. So now we got this little halo on the outside of the fire. I'm not sure I totally like it, but before we go too crazy trying to adjust it, let's colorize this. So we're going to put a little, what are we going to do? We can try color balance. Oh, there's a freaking invert. Try using our channel mixer. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, no. Oh, we want it on the highlights, not on everything. This might not be the right filter. I'm not actually that good in Photoshop. So I often have to kind of struggle. Highlights, there it is. Oh, I might be going about this wrong. Let's try this instead. Let's try creating a new layer. And we'll fill it, we'll fill it with brew. And then we create a clipping mask so that it only shows up over the fireball. And then we change we play around with different blend styles. Oh, now see that right there? That's almost completely 100% perfect. That's like exactly what I wanted it to do. It's too stark, so to speak. Let's see. Multiply might be better. That's also quite nice. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's so it. Okay, now it's got this weird halo thing that I'm not a huge fan of. Maybe I am a fan of it. Maybe this is the sort of thing that I should let sit overnight and then take another look at it. Okay, now above the hand, we're going to put a little bit of a desaturation layer. The only thing I don't like is now it looks kind of like a drawing. Yeah, it looks very much like a drawing actually. What makes it look like a drawing? The center definitely makes it look like a drawing. So we're going to duplicate the fireball. We're going to mask it. We're going to try this. This might not work. We're going to erase the whole thing, and then we're going to back in the center. Because I think the center is my main problem with it. So if we do that, And then we add an adjustment. We add a saturation layer, rather. Saturate it all the way down. And you add levels. Whoops, not that. I like that effect. That's good. So now that white outline is bugging me, and that is one of the key things that's bugging me right now. So let's see what we can do about that. We can go into the fireball and we can try brushing it out, you know? Hmm. So I think the black and white at the edges here just really make it look like an outline, which makes it look like a drawing or a painting, you know. So I'm hoping that if we eliminate that, we'll get rid of that effect. Yeah, that makes things look significantly better. Okay, next thing I want to do is I want to give the hand a bit of a blue glow, because obviously, um, if the fire has these blue edges and whatnot, then it would have a blue glow. Nope, not what I wanted. Carl J. Lice says, at this point, I can imagine you coming out and creating something that looks bad. On another note, I spent half an hour begging my Australian internet to let me watch SCP live for the first time, but I was unsuccessful. Incredibly, it's actually working quite well now, so I'm very excited to be watching live. Oh, thanks, Carl. Yeah, the secret to my secret to book covers that I'm proud of. I won't say good book covers because I don't want to be a arrogant prick, but book covers that I am proud of and am okay releasing my books with. Just keep dicking around. Like I just keep fiddling and fiddling and fiddling until finally I'm like, oh, okay, good. Now I like this. Like that's it. So if I don't like the cover, if I know that it's kind of crap, I mean, it's just very easy to keep working on it and not release the book. Okay, so now we've done a lot of this like elimination type stuff. So now we want to go very soft. Sort of want to dust along the edge to make it blend into the hand a bit more. This is an image I can sleep on. I don't think it's 100% there, but I don't immediately go, oh, I need to fix that. So I can sleep on it. The last thing that we're going to do before we end off this session of Vloganovel and I go to bed, excuse me, is, do I have guides up? Oh, I do. Well, then that's actually the next thing that we're going to do. We're going to put all this into a big folder called cover image. And then we're going to move it. No. Why is everything moving? That makes no sense. Oh, I think I know. No, I don't know. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so now we'll set up our cover image so that the fireball is centered. Stop moving. And that will look nice on the spine. We're not going to stick it on the spine right now, just because we're gonna futz around with it a little bit more tomorrow. Can I mask a whole group image? Oh, I can. Oh, thank freaking God, because I just want to. Now we're gonna do a title, a title. We use Harrington for our covers, and we do not use caps. In case you can't tell, I'm using the I in Mystic to measure the size of the font with the I in Darkfire, and if they're the same size, then you know. Carl says you can keep saying that you're bad at Photoshop, but you can't deny being better than a lot of people. Seriously, your cover is freaking amazing. No amateur can make that shit. Well, thank you very much. I mean, I know that I'm better than like your average layman. Um, my point is that like I would never hire myself as like a graphic designer. You know what I mean? Because like people online who do that shit are a lot better than I am. Okay, so now we increase the size of our F because that's what's going to get the dagger treatment, so to speak. No. God damn it. There we go. Yeah, when I start cursing at my computer, you can tell I should probably go to bed pretty soon. Oh, I didn't do kerning. Oh, man. That's just annoying. Kerning is just the spacing between letters in text. And XKCD made one of the best web comics ever, and it said if you hate someone, teach them to recognize bad kerning, because good kerning is like the letters are not even necessarily evenly spaced, but just spaced from each other in an aesthetically pleasing way. And it's hard to explain exactly what that means, but once you know it, you know it. And there is so much bad kerning in the world, it's insane. And dude, like he said, you hate someone and you teach them, how to recognize bad kerning, they will walk around and they will look at all of the signs in the world and the book titles and the covers and the billboards and everything, and they'll just scream like, ah, spacing's all fucked up and fucking fuck. The kerning on the R and the E is actually pretty good, so I can make them their own separate thing. I Okay, and then we take all these suckers and we merge them. Center them. That center line might. What the fucking fuckity fuck? Oh, that center line might not be totally accurate anymore because it's based off of the last book's layout and design and everything like that, but it's good enough. And then we'll duplicate it. No. Duplicate. There we go. Spine folder. Hmm. Once again, we'll use the letter I because that's a common letter shared by the two words. It has two separate parts, which makes it even better for matching sizes. Boom. Now the size is right, and we just want to, on spine titles, you want, if you've got a, hmm, lethal there. If you've got a bunch of books in a series, you don't want, well, me personally, at least with this series, they all have similar titles. It's all one word. I don't want them all centered on the same spot. I want them left aligned on the same spot. Like if you tilt your head and you look at the title, they should all be left aligned because then when they're on the book together, when they're on a bookshelf together, then the titles start from the same place. And that just happens to be my choice for this particular series. And I think we do that for the Realm Keeper series as well. It just looks good on a bookshelf, I think. So that's fine. You know, we're just gonna, I know I said I wasn't gonna do this, but we're just gonna go ahead and duplicate the group, merge the group. Toss that into the spine folder. Got all this crazy masking shit going on, but that doesn't really matter because we're going to get rid of all of it. Ah! No, you fool! The mask! The mask! Honestly, that's the sort of thing that you can actually erase out if you want, but, you know, just whatever, man. We'll just play it safe. Now there's something here. Let's get rid of the other spine image first. How does that get rid of you? How does that even make any kind of sense? Oh, because it has a clipping mask. That's stupid. Yeah, that's going to look good on a spine. next to Nightblade and Mystic. All right. Well, I'm not sure how long I've been going, but that feels like a good time to. Ugh. That feels like a good time to wrap up for the night. I'll go take my sleep time, and then mañana we'll come back to the cover. We'll see how we feel about it. We'll see if we have any ideas about how to improve it and make it better, and we'll just keep dicking around with it until we're totally happy with it. So, if you have tuned in for this episode of Vloganovel, thank you very much. Carl, thanks so much for live commenting and hanging out with me while I work. It always makes the experience much more enjoyable to have people here with me. Excuse me. And I will be back with another episode of Vloganovel tomorrow for sure. Couple quick reminders. The first book in the series is Nightblade. You can pick up autographed copies of that in the video description below. The second book in the series is Mystic. That goes on sale this Friday, but you can actually get it on Amazon right now. So it won't ship until Friday, but you can go and make your purchase, and it'll go. And that ships everywhere in the world. What else? Yeah, check the links in the video description. You can find my website where you can sign up for my email list and also signed copies of Nightblade, and all of my other print books are available there. Cool. Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye.